When an alliance forms on WWE TV, fans logically expect the partnership to last a considerable amount of time. This allows them to connect with the team and hopefully see them grow as partners. However, it's not uncommon for WWE to debut a new alliance, then quickly disband them. An alliance can be over within what seems like a few short weeks, or can even be disintegrated within a matter of minutes. Well, that's not to say that every single short-lived alliance in WWE history has been bad, as some brief alliances have led to acclaimed and beloved storylines, but for the most part, short-time alliances are difficult to execute effectively. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 WWE alliances that just lasted seconds. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new website, Wrestlelamia.com. Number 10, Booker T and Rob Van Dam. Booker T and Rob Van Dam were two of the most popular stars on Raw during the Ruthless Aggression era, and if these two were going to be in the running for the world title, it made sense to pair the two as a team. The two would join forces in early 2004, and they managed to defeat Evolution to become the tag team champions, but their run as a tag team was over before fans had time to resonate with the duo. When the two were drafted as SmackDown, WWE realized that they needed the two to revert to single stars, so Booker would turn heel, whilst RVD would remain as a lovable babyface. The team had a ton of potential, but WWE during this era was never truly focused on tag divisions, so they were never going to give the team time and the creative direction to actually grow. Number 9, Matt Hardy and Tatanka. Now, the list of tag team partners that Matt Hardy has had over the years is endless. Everyone associates him with Jeff Hardy, but Matt Hardy has also had memorable partnerships with the likes of Shannon Moore, MVP, and even Bray Wyatt. One of the Hardys' more bizarre and forgotten tag teams came when the WWE decided to pair him with the Native American Tatanka. They had zero chemistry as a duo, and it was never logically explained to the audience why these two vastly different individuals were suddenly teaming together. The association of the two was over within a few weeks, and WWE were fully aware that fans weren't exactly investing in the new tag team. There was also severe criticism directed towards how WWE were booking Matt Hardy during this time. He'd just come off the infamous feud with Edge, and now Hardy was in a random tag team with Tatanka. It wasn't exactly compelling booking for someone who was previously one of the most over talents in the entire company. Number 8, Chris Jericho and The Miz. Big Show's partnership with both Chris Jericho and The Miz were incredibly memorable. Yet when WWE decided to pair both Big Show's former partners together, for whatever reason, they quickly changed direction. The two would align on an episode of Raw in a backstage segment where the two bonded over their dislike of the Big Show. Sounds fair enough. The two on paper should have been a sheer delight as a tag team, but their motivations for teaming were extremely weak, and it didn't help that neither man was set to feud with Big Show as he was on a completely different show. They were able to get a pay-per-view match out of the tag team, as they would unsuccessfully challenge the Hart Dynasty at the Over the Limit pay-per-view. But following the pay-per-view, WWE decided to in essence pretend like the pairing never happened, and they instead moved towards new single programs for the respective duo. Number 7, Kane and The Hurricane. Hey, that rhymed. Over his decorated career, Kane has shown time and time again how he has the ability to make any tag team combination work. Kane's had tremendous tag team chemistry with The Undertaker, Big Show, X-Pac, and Daniel Bryan, and even when Kane entered into the short-lived tag team with The Hurricane, it was still widely regarded amongst fans. The two would win the tag titles, and the tag team should have in theory elevated the Hurricane to new heights. Yet the issue was that Kane was set to enter into a world title program with Triple H, meaning that most of Hurricane's character growth was pushed aside. Luckily, as always, the Hurricane made the most of his time on TV, and whenever WWE gave him anything to do, no matter how minuscule, he truly shined. Now, the team only had a handful of matches as a duo, and the tag team could have certainly lasted a lot longer. The likely reason why the partnership isn't discussed as often as Kane's other pairings is that just a few short months after this pairing began to dissolve, Kane would begin to team with Rob Van Dam, which is considered one of the most popular tag teams of the respective era. Number 6, Hulk Hogan and Edge. The 2002 return of Hulk Hogan was a mixed bag, but one of the most undisputed highlights was his brief run in a tag team with Edge. Edge grew up as a Hulkamaniac, so it was a certified dream for Edge to work with Hogan in a tag team combination. The two would win the tag titles in a wholesome moment, and this was exactly how Hogan should have been used during his return, as he was elevating younger talent, yet keeping his legacy and brand alive. When the two eventually lost the titles, the pairing would fade into the background, and it wasn't before long that Hogan was taken off TV until 2003. Sadly, when Hogan returned to WWE, he was getting set to have major neck surgery, so there was no chance that a reunion could have gone down. Number 5, Crime Time C Nation. In the summer of 2008, WWE decided to deliver something bold yet fresh with John Cena's character. He would become associated with the popular tag team Crime Time during his feud with JBL, and the trio had such natural chemistry together that fans instantly began to gravitate towards everything the trio did. When Cena went down with a serious injury just a month or so after the trio joined forces, it unfortunately cancelled any creative plans that were in place. Whilst it was a brief run, it was without a doubt a memorable and entertaining one, as JTG reflected on the legacy of Crime Time C-Nation during an interview with Sportskeeda. It was week by week. I didn't even know when we were going to be paired with John. I don't even know when it ended. It was kind of like, no John this week? Okay. No John this week either? Okay. He came back from an injury? Okay. Alright, I guess we're not together no more. I still remember the day they told us about teaming up with John. It was July 7th, 2008, I believe. I definitely remember the date, and working with him was great behind the scenes. I had fun, I learned a lot from him, and it was one of those rare times that Shad and I main evented on some of the house shows. Number 4, Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. Sometimes new tag team combinations fail to last until a single WWE show, and this was the case when Cody Rhodes joined forces with Brock Lesnar on Raw after WrestleMania 39. The planned main event of the show was to see Rhodes and Lesnar team up to take on Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. However, as the match was about to begin, Lesnar embarked on a vicious assault on Rhodes, turning heel in the process. It was disappointing to discover that Lesnar was in fact wrestling on Raw, and there was some criticism directed towards WWE's decision to turn him heel. The heel turn was ultimately done to give Rhodes a major name to feud with on Raw, and in turn elevate the American Nightmare to the next level. Number 3, Chris Jericho and AJ Styles. Upon signing with WWE in 2016, AJ Styles was quickly entered into a storyline with Chris Jericho. The two would join forces and become a Y2AJ, and it looked like WWE were planning a long-term direction for the duo as they produced merchandise for the newly formed tag team. The tag team would quickly disintegrate after Jericho turned on AJ to set up a featured match at WrestleMania 32. And there was an argument to be made that WWE rushed into the team breaking up, as they did have great chemistry together, but the WWE were evidently focused on both AJ and Jericho being respective singles stars. Number 2, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. When WWE has no concrete creative plans for two talented wrestlers, just join them together. In 2010, virtually out of nowhere, WWE paired Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, and the two were given a decent push as they won the WWE tag titles. There was a lot to explore with the duo, but within weeks they had dropped the titles to Cena and David Tatanka in a move which annihilated their legitimacy as a tag team. Just days after losing the tag titles, the two would lose another tag match on SmackDown, and in a frustrating backstage segment, the two would go their separate ways. Since Rhodes returned to WWE in 2022, there has been a push from fans to see the two feud, and the fans are hoping that WWE references their brief run as a team in the rivalry. And number 1, Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. Roman Reigns and the late great Bray Wyatt had some exceptional matches together, but it was a one night as a tag team which stood the test of time. Following WrestleMania 32, WWE looked to be experimenting with the idea of Bray Wyatt as a babyface. This was arguably long overdue, and to execute the turn, they were going to have Wyatt team with Reigns on Raw in a match with the League of Nations. Wyatt's work in the match as a babyface was a joy to watch, and the crowd were loving everything he was doing. The finish of the match delivered one of the most iconic moments of the past decade. As Wyatt was getting set to pin Alberto Del Rio, he pointed to Sheamus, and Reigns delivered a brutal spear. The spot was utter perfection, and it was no surprise that the clip is regularly circulated across social media platforms. Sadly, Wyatt suffered an injury shortly after the babyface turn, and when he eventually returned to TV, they made the questionable decision to turn him back into a heel and enter into a feud with the New Day. But there you have it, folks, 10 WWE alliances that lasted just seconds. Be sure to leave your comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.